So I'm back with another quick one. This one is going to be really, really good. If you didn't see my video before, I did this video talking about job, let's talk about it, right? You didn't see it, right? Go check that out. It's coming out. It's coming out real soon. Matter of fact, I think it's coming out. I think I put it. Go check it out. You're gonna hit the notification bell. Go check it out. Before I get into this, I want your guys to hit the notification bell. That'll let you know that when I'm dropping this heat for you. And these videos are so good. These videos are not for clout. These videos not for anything other than to tap into who we are and to bring the truth and unravel a lot of darkness with it inside of us from a spiritual existence, a spiritual realm, from being connected with the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence. And I'm looking for my glasses, but I don't see my glasses. Maybe I took them somewhere. Hold on. Okay, my glasses is right here. Hold on one second. I see them. They right here. They right here. Okay. So I'm gonna need later on. I'm gonna read something. So you see the title. What is this title? What does this title mean? What does this title mean? I'm gonna get into a really, really deep history of spirituality. Some of it is in scriptures and a lot of it is not, right? And he gives us bits and pieces of this history in talking about certain events, right, that happened in the past, way before we was in existence, the new creation, right, of the human race, of mankind, actually true facts, right, and kept this spiritual and blessed bloodlines in existence. This is actually fact. This is a promise that he made upon himself and upon the ancient ancestors to uphold this bloodline, to uphold the oneness, to uphold the guardians, to uphold the information, to uphold the upliftment of the ancient ancestors that is called the Uply God Right Ones. And these are the descendants, and it's the west that we call America, which is a blessed land and holy land. This is an actual true fact. Yes, that we are not African, we are not black, we are not Moors, we are not Egyptians, we are not any of these things. These titles came later on. The original form of mankind is called the Uply God Right Ones, right? It's one bloodline that was not Muslim or Christian and Jews that have the option into accepting these different lifestyles, meaning different lifestyles. You call them religion and we call them different lifestyles. It's an actual true fact. But in the beginning, it's all one, which has many different sets. This set saying this one, this set saying that one, which ultimately, right, would lead to separation of mankind. It should just be only one. I understand an assignment, I understand the task, and I understand it as a spiritual guided brother that's amongst you, that is the descendants of the ancient ancestors, right, of the earth and of America. This is an actual true fact. America is the first civilization of mankind, which is us right here. You can tell our swag, our different, our vibe, our energy is different from any other civilization on the planet of the earth. This is an actual true fact. Once we get and tap into who we are and practice our God-given gifts and talents and blessings that he blessed upon us in our land. Yes. The reason why I'm coming up with this topic is because before all of this went on, and before all of this went on, all of this chaos and separation of mankind, right, there was murder. murder went on and murders were practiced amongst the indigenous people of the earth. It was bad murder which stained a part of the earth. Stained it. Because before everything, before you see everything was sort of like a paradise drive here on earth. It was one big land, one body of big land. It wasn't separated. It wasn't separated before the flood. It was one big body of land, right? One big body of land. To ask the true fact, the people was one. The color was one. Telekinesis, telepathically talking to each other was one. Everything was one. It was one with the Alpha Omega, the Almighty. What stepped in was disbelief and was taught by this entity, right, of our ancestors, ancient ancestors. That was in the physical form, was taught disbelief, disrespect, secret arts of killing and murder. So one particular son killed another son, Cain and Abel. This is an actual fact. The Creator talks about it in all of the scriptures. This would stain our civilization. This what brought about separation. This what brought about chaos in our civilization amongst the indigenous people, because it was only one color of pigmentation. This is an actual true fact. There wasn't no other pigmentation. It was us. And this is way before the flood. This is an actual true fact. And when that happened, and when the earth was one, that stained the earth. It stained the earth. It stained a portion of the earth. And when it stained a portion of the earth was one. And the stain was what? And a lot of people don't understand that when this came about. That portion of the earth. Huh? Tell me. Tell me. What happened? When that stained a portion of the earth, the portion of the earth was the North Pole. That stained that portion because, remember, the earth was together. It stained that part where this indigenous descendant and ancient ancestors was killed. In this entity. The entity, that is the stronghold of the entity. That's where he at. That's where his throne is at. He sits there. You can't see it. And delegate to everything. It is not the Bermuda Triangle where people think it is. Or sits there. No, this is theory. That's where what Abel was slain at. That's where his blood is at. That's where it was slain. That's where he was slain at. Remember, the earth was together. The earth was together, and he was slain there. And that's where this entity was trapped at. So he can't move there. He can't move around. He have to delegate. This is coming straight from the spiritual realm, that things is not talked about, things not looked at. And we trying to unravel where this entity is at. And this entity is right there. So a portion of us being Cain descendants responsibility was to take control partial of that region of the earth. Because that's where the entity is at. Their job was to fight this entity and keep this entity at bay to make sure that these entities, his delegates and his army will not be spreading the way they do. Because they descendants of Cain, right? That was the punishment and that was the agreement to take care of a part of this region. Yes, all of people after the flood was dedicated to take care of this part of the region. But remember, the earth was together. Noah, peace and blessings be upon him. Remember, before Noah, everything was together. When after the flood, things separated. So what separated was the North Pole. It drifted over there. So when it was dedicated, they didn't know that portion of the descendants of Cain was dedicated to be there, specifically to take care of that portion of the earth and climate of the earth, because that is where the Creator stained and entrapped that right there, that entity, because he dedicated and told Cain how to kill his brother over jealousy and backdoor and everything else. This is an actually true fact. He's not going to get into the story, but this is the story. And we all know who was sent there to keep these entities at bay and to take care portion of that region. It's not a punishment, because you know not what you do. Yes, you had to learn from a harsh. It's not punishment. Your task being that you accepted this entity and believe in this entity and accept this entity, and he told you how to kill Abel. Peace and blessings be upon him. Cain, right? You was to keep this entity, the chief of deceivers, the chief of chaos and confusion, at bay with his what? With his dupes. And you did for a portion of time. You did. You stood there. I know the history because the Creator and got me in tune with spirituality to tell you exactly what actually happened. So you was there to stay there to control the portion of this region. This entity befooled you and tricked you for fame, fortune, and riches, and lied and told you the reason why he did that because he cursed you. He cursed your skin. He used the colors of the skin. But the colors of the skin is for a specific climate and a specific control of the earth, to take care of the earth. Your job was more larger than ours as the indigenous people, the free people in creation. You are us. We are each other. That's why the rainbow came about. He brought different colors. But that was your portion, and that's why your pigmentation is that pigmentation, because your pigmentation need to be there to last for centuries and ages to take care of that part of the region of the earth, to keep this entity at bay. But you befriend this entity before and allow Cain to kill Abel. So you were sent there not because of punishment, because this where this entity, right, told you and taught you how to kill your own brother and murder your brother, and that part of the earth was stained with cold. That whole region was stained with cold, and you was there, right? Being that Abel blood was stained with cold, right? Because remember, in the scripture, the Creator says He sent the bird to cover up his sin, Cain's sin. He didn't know how to. He killed his brother, and he didn't know how to bury him. He left his body on the earth, and the bird showed him how to bury the body. But when he realized, he said, "What have I done?" Because it was the entity that showed him, told him, and manifested him how to kill people. Because what the entity was way before mankind. So your skin color is amazing and is mighty for that portion of the earth. This is why He did the rainbow, because He needed to stain that part of the earth and keep this entity, chief of deceiver, at bay there. Because being that you added in and killed Abel, you needed to stay there. You cannot be spreading around like that. So now he is forbidden to move around. He has other abilities, but physically he is staying there. That's where he's at. That's where his throne is at. This entity, yes, I already know. The Creator already told me where you at. But you cannot see him with the eye. You cannot see him with the eye. You understand? You get seen with spirituality. This is the spirituality. These are things that I'm telling you, secret things that I'm telling you how it went down, that's not written in the scriptures. Bits and pieces of it written in, but I'm going to depth on why that part of the earth is stained with cold. because that's where the entity at, and that's where is Abel blood and body is buried at. Because before that, it was all tropical, it was all beautiful, because the earth is a prototype of the upper existence where we really come from. This is only a port for us to eat and sleep, and for us to travel throughout the universe, everything in between, and go beyond to keep justice and balance. This is an actual true fact, brothers and sisters, and this is why this entity have taught this civilization to kill and murder this civilization. This is an actual true fact, and I'm telling you, from a spiritual point of view, you have to stop. It is not a curse. Do you understand that? It is not the skin pigmentation is not a curse. It is not any of that. You was there because being that you befriended this entity, it befriended you, you learned from it, you killed your brother out of jealousy and hate and envy and backdoor. So now it trapped, so it won't spread throughout the whole earth. It trapped it and stained it with coal. That's what the Creator did. This is an actual true fact. That's what he did. And everything that was there was affected. It was affected. So be it. Everything was affected because you know why? There was other beings there, and there was other things there that did not stop. Came from killing his brother. So everybody is what? Everybody is going to get what? Trapped there. That's why when the earth started moving, that portion moved right there, because that was the stain, and that was the body of Abel bodies, that because you want to control that piece of the region from spreading throughout the other parts of the region of the earth. That's why the earth and everything was splitted. That's where that entity is at. It's not in Bermuda, but people think it is because they don't understand. And you heard this first on my platform, that knowledge, that kick knowledge, wisdom, and understanding are coming from a spiritual realm. This is also fact. If you want to get in there and debate with me, right, with spirituality that I'm bringing to you with facts that's coming from the Alpha Omega, the creating everything existing, get in my comments. Get in my comments. This is the actual true history on why things happen. That is the stain that the Creator sent down where he was slayed at. Abel, the brother. This entity is there and trapped there. He can't go nowhere. But mind, body, like his mind and his whisper is powerful, and everything else and all of the dupes he can send out, they are allowed to, move about. Not him. He's trapped there because what he did to Abel and Cain. This is an actual true fact. So being that you did this act, now you have to go over there and maintain and make sure and keep this entity at bay, because he gave you the skin, he gave you the eyes, he gave you the hair to maintain that cold part of the region, but you befriend the entity again and allow him to come in to trick you for fame, fortune, and riches, and everything else, is saying that the reason why the Creator doing this to you, he's punished you for this and that and keeping you at bay. So when you intertwined with us and you saw that we was living the way we was living, right? It backdoored you. Now it did a big campaign so you could destroy the indigenous people of the earth, the very right hand of the Alpha Omega, the created everything in existence. We are him and he is us. All people. White, black, Spanish, we are the Alpha Omega, and the Alpha Omega is us, all of us. But he tricked you. He tricked you to kill your own brother. So now you was allowed to go over there, all the cold parts of the regions, and delegate that, and gave you knowledge and wisdom and understanding and power to keep these demons, devils at bay. But you relucted on it, and this is why all of this chaos is going on, because you relucted and came out of the agreement with the Alpha Omega to deal with it and befriend this entity. He's lying to you. You can never destroy the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything existing. Whatever you come up with, this is an absolute true fact. You cannot destroy him, and you should know better. So being that you can't destroy him, but by raging a campaign against us, you trying to hurt the Alpha Omega, the creating everything existing, and you trying to get to us to try to destroy and dethrone the Alpha Omega, which you cannot. And this is why the Alpha Omega set up certain rules and regulation and barriers so people cannot transgress. You stain that part of the region. That's why that part of the region is hit with cold and iceberg and everything, and stuff is over there melting, because now it's melting. And at the same token, building these certain civilization that's over there, that's there, is really, really cold. You can't, there's really no existence there, but there is existence there. That's right. I want you to know this. I want you to spread this message. I want you to like this. This is an actual true fact. Brothers and sisters, kings and queens, this is really, really important for us. You know, this information, people don't talk about this information because you know why? They dare to deceive you and tell you something else and lie to you about something else. That's right. So I want you to understand this from a spiritual point of view. This is why the portion of this earth is what? This is why the portion of this earth is what? Come on. This is why the portion of the earth is what? It's stained. It's stained. Because this is where Abel's body was slayed at. Yeah. This is actually true fact, brother. This is an actually true fact, and I want you to understand that. That's right. So now this is the actually accurate truth that coming from a spiritual side. I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. That's right. Coming with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, experience from a spiritual brother that's in tune, that been here for a very, very long time. So this is the actual fact. So being that he allowed them to come out and taught them to come out, right? And teach them that the reason why they did this, right? And was sent there because the Creator hate them and they skin color and all that. No, they skin color is needed. Everybody's skin color is needed. Their pigmentation is to take care of that cold part of the region, is because this is where they slayed Abel at. So Abel's bloodline started running through that earth. The Creator had to stain that before it spread through. He had to stain it. And by him staining it, meaning to put the code there so it won't spread. And kept that entity there. That entity is there. He's in that frozen part of the region. That's an actual true fact. And they were sent there basically to control it. It's not for punishment. Because being that you did this act, right? You are sent there because you killed your brother out of fame, fortune, riches, light, shades, and squad, light, cancer, and action at that time. Out of jealousy and hatred and envy, backdoor. Yes, that is true. But this entity that taught Cain how to kill Abel, and that part of the Eden, that part of the climate of the earth was stained with cold. That's the real knowledge. That's the real understanding. That's the real guidance of spirituality right there. That is why. It's not all that other stuff that you see on these major platforms. People lying to run it up for numbers. People lining up to run it up for views and shares and likes as they practice and preach and spread falsehood about actually what happened. The Creator tells us bits and pieces about it. He doesn't go into detail. He doesn't go into detail. But he blessed me with the knowledge and understanding and wisdom and experience to be blessed with this, to give the deeper hidden meaning of why it happened. And now it's up to you whether you want to believe it or not. It is actually true facts. That's why that part of the earth is stained and it's it's a quarantine to trap that entity there The trap, the entity there. That's right. And you were sent there to keep this entity at what? Imprisonment and his dupes. And you reluctant on that and came out with this entity because he showed you what to do. You wasn't trapped. There wasn't no trap. It wasn't nothing like that. Being that you did that act, killed your brother, this is your responsibility right now to the end of time. That's true. You could come out, but you had to go back. It's an actual true fact. It's a trap. It's an actual true fact. And that's what happened. And that's why the pigmentation in the eye and everything else was there. It's not a punishment. It's a power, it's enlightenment in your very pigmentation. Do you understand that? It's a fact. Peace, y'all. Peace, 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 peace.